In this video, I get pushed off in Daily Race A. Daily Race B sees how ghosting really doesn't work. And in Daily Race C, well, C stands for crash, crash, crash. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2023. Week 37 presents a very interesting week because I think there's going to be a lot of crashes this week. First up in the background, if you can't tell already, we're at Alsace in the Alpine A110. We're doing 3 laps here. It's a grid start with sports hard tyres, and BOP is on, which means you can have little details in terms of making the car look better, nicer, if you think it looks better, that is. But you can't tune the car, which is a bit unfortunate for those tuners out there. If you don't like Daily Race A, and I know a lot of you do not like Daily Race A, there are some timestamps there for you to skip over to Race B or Race C. Now, as I say, there's a lot of crashing or potential crashes happening this week, and this video is no exception, including some very dodgy penalties. Let's jump to the first race then. Let's have a look at exactly what happens. Right, here we are then at the start. This was actually a later race than I planned. I missed the race because I was doing the time trial to get you the qualifying lap. Now, I always put traction control on 1 with the grid start, and this has no penalties, so foot to the floor, and off you go, or not off you go, if you're that Spaniard there, who completely misses the start there. Fortunately, I avoided them, and I was sort of half prepped for that. Headed towards turn 1 then. Anything going to happen here then? Not quite. Marisonic with a big old 17 on the side of delivery there. A bit of contact between 2 on that right-hand side, so we've gained a position there from faulty gearbox. Maybe it has a faulty gearbox, I don't know. And we get past Tidgney then as well. Got Hudson up ahead, a part of TCR, of course, as we head into this left-hander. There's some more TCR up ahead as well. Slight tap there with the Alpine as they slow it down here. But you don't have to go that slow as we head into the right-hander then. Slowing it down nicely. This corner will have some crashes on for sure, as there's lots of ways to take it and lots of ways to get it wrong as well. As we continue on out of there then. Still behind Hodgson here. Up into P8 we are as we go through this left-hander. We've got Marisonic and Sonic together again. Nothing unusual there in this video, is there? Each and every week as we head towards this sharp right-hander then, and in towards the braking zone we go. And if we have a look on our rear view mirror, we get a slight tap there, which was just not very nice, to be honest. You see me put my hand up there because I wasn't very impressed with that, to be perfectly honest. Then behind then, we have that big old crash there with that driver. We're going to have a look at that in the bloopers, whether that was my fault or not. But I wasn't impressed there with Tidgney there. I think it was just a mistake more than anything, but I would have waited up at that point because you did just, like, send me off there. Marisonic goes deep here, so I try and get on the inside of Marisonic and on the inside of Tidgney as we continue on out of turn 1. So we're starting lap number 2 here then. We're going to continue towards the left-hander then, and we're actually 3 wide at the moment. Marisonic got a really good run off the corner. Goes back to 2 wide here as we both go past Tidgney then as we do a reverse Moses maneuver and in towards this braking zone then. As I say, this one's a hard one to get right, but when you do get it right, oh my word, it feels good. Through the right we go then, still side by side with Marisonic. Beautiful racing here as we go into the left, and Marisonic keeps that position for now. Very well defended after turn 1, going a bit wide there. Bit of oversteer there. Going rallycross here, Marisonic, are we? As we continue on then. Oh, is he going to go defensive? Yes, he is. We go towards that left-hand side then, in towards the braking zone. We go around the outside of here. It's very, very difficult to do. It really is. And as you see, it doesn't work out there at all. We try and keep it on the curbs there. A bit of a wheelie there as well as we continue a bit later on in the lap. Then we get a good run of Marisonic then as we head towards this left-hander. Again, side by side here. Very hard to do into this corner. We slow it down nicely. Marisonic going full drifting then in towards the right. Look at that slide that Marisonic's got going on there as we leave the corner then side by side. Catches it, does Marisonic. Beautiful stuff there. Horn to celebrate the catch, maybe? I'm not too sure as we go into the left-hander. And I know some people troll me with the horn now as well, but I blimmin' hate the horn in these daily races. It's not too bad when people aren't blaring it every 4 seconds. Right, we're going to head down here then. This is also a very hard braking zone as we come in to the right-hander then, as we slow it down nicely then and in towards the left. So we have gone around the outside of Marisonic then as we go through the left-hander then and continue on out. Apologies for saying then all the time. I'm trying to get a cat away from me at the same time as we head towards turn 1. Marisonic goes towards the left, then the right. Then I can't really move over right again. I've already made my move. Marisonic down the inside at turn 1. Get it stopped beautifully as we leave this corner. And I'm going to have a wider line, which should mean a better exit here in that 3rd gear. Up to 4th I go, and we are just ahead now of Marisonic. Happy days indeed with P6 up ahead of Hodgson. We've got Sonic there. Chicken Angel, part of TCI in P3 as well as we head towards this fast left-hander. As we come into here then, I'm going to absolutely go down the inside of Hodgson here in towards the braking zone. We got a slight tap between the 2 of us then as we leave that corner. And Hodgson goes off there. Now, I was unsure whether I did a second touch there. So what I'm going to do is pull over here and wait for Hodgson, which I did there. And I'll let Hodgson go. And then we're a few corners after. So this is when I can race again as I go down the inside in towards Banky Boy. Now, we are going to have a look at that incident in the bloopers, whether it was my fault or not. I did send it from a while back, but as I always say, you can do dives by all means as long as you make the apex. As long as you make the apex, it's absolutely fine. This is racing at the end of the day. If there's a gap there and you can make that gap without hitting the other person, it's happy days. Congratulations to Woody there, getting P1. Great racing there from all the TCR drivers and everyone I did race there. Heading towards turn 1 then, here's the lap guide for you. What you're going to have to look for is either the 50-meter board on the left-hand side or the start of the curb. Now, I actually like to use the start of the curb here and be quite aggressive on the braking, mainly because it's basically a hairpin, essentially. So you want to dive straight in, get the car turned and pointed out and just boot it out as fast as you can rather than trying to take it nice and steady through the corner. You notice there I'm quite aggressive there. On the throttle, I'm staying in third gear as well as we continue on out of there. Then I'm going to fast forward a little bit here as we go into left-hander. You don't have to lift for this corner, okay? But it gets scary sometimes and you do find yourself lifting. As we go in towards the braking zone then, we've got the Armco on the left-hand side or that first black arrow there. The red arrows were over my house yesterday, in fact. As we head into this braking zone. Okay, now again, I like to brake quite late for this corner. The camber of the corner will help you as well. Just brake in a straight line. If you brake even remotely turning, it's going to cause a lot of oversteer in this Alpine A110 on any corner. Leave that corner then, head over towards the right hand side, and we start to turn left. Now, I've come in a bit too shallow here, and what it's going to do is force me to have to lift off on exit. That tree there, right, I've highlighted it because it's an accelerating marker. When that's left your screen, I want you to be flat out on the accelerator by this point. If you delay it any longer, you're going to be really slow out of this corner. So this tree, it's on the inside, it's very obvious. It's the last tree that is obvious there on the inside, and you can see there as I accelerate out. Head over towards that left-hand side then here, and as we head towards the braking zone, we're looking for that arrow there on the left-hand side. The Armco does just end there as well, or you can use the sign. I actually use the sign above us here as a brake marker, and it's just before it hits the top of the screen for me. It may change. These are markers that you can use, okay? So I drop to third gear, I chuck it in. There's a bit of camber on the inside, which helps massively, and that allows you to actually use all the curb on the exit as well as we continue on through there. Nice little kink here. Flat out as always, and as we head over towards that right hand side then we've got the first arrow, the line of arrows there telling you it's a left hand corner. That's my brake marker for this corner. You want to start off with a slightly wider line in, okay, and turn into the corner, going for a later apex. The later the apex, the quicker you can get out the corner on this one, so keep that in mind. Notice how I'm staying towards the right hand side, and then I bring it towards the inside there as we continue on out of that corner then and head over towards that left hand side for the Alsace version of Banky Boy. So for this corner, you got the 50-meter board, the end of the Armco, or the start of the hail bales there, or the arrow. Any one of those four that I've just mentioned is your marker for this. Now, what I would advise is actually not braking for this one. It's actually just lift off and drop a gear in the Alpine. That's all you've got to do. Lift off and drop a gear, and that's what I do here. Now, I've actually come in a bit too tight here now. I've just come in a bit shallow there, and it's going to force me to accelerate a bit late. Now, the end of the curb there on that right-hand side, that is your accelerating marker. If that's left the edge of your screen, you should be 100% throttle at that point. Use that as your marker. Try and get accelerating before that hits the edge of your screen and get quicker and quicker and more aggressive. Notice there, I'm flat out now as I leave that corner, but it did cost me a little bit of time because it came in a bit shallow. So we're going to head now towards this very hard corner to get right, okay? So on the left-hand side, you got a bit of yellow, then it sort of breaks up the Armco a little bit, and then you go back to the Armco there with more yellow. That is your brake marker, your first brake marker, okay, for this corner. So you use this to slow down initially, try and get the car rotated a little bit so you can brake in a straight line for the actual corner itself. That's what I do here. I'm not in a straight line and then hard on the brakes 100%. The second I'm in a straight line here. Now I stay in third gear for this one because if you stay in second, you're going to hit the limiter very, very quickly. So I would advise staying in third just for a bit of stability there on exit. And in case you get any power oversteer as well, third gear you won't get that. On the right side then, at the start of the Armco on the right, or the arrow if you want to use that, you need to start turning just as you get to that point as it hits the edge of your screen, okay? Now you want to slightly lift here because you want to get the car rotated a little bit, and that's what I do there. And then accelerate as early as you can. You're going uphill here, so every single mile an hour you can gain on that corner is actually huge. It really does amplify the speed you carry up that hill, and it is very critical to get that right. Heading down the hill then, you've got on the right-hand side the end of the Armco or the hay bales on the right-hand side. Or, and what I do is I judge it on this line as it goes more left, okay? So I'm now going to start braking and try and brake in a straight line here. You will find yourself turning a lot, especially lower down the driver ratings. Just make sure you brake in a straight line as I do there, and then you lift and then go into it like that. Notice how stable the car was. As you come into this final corner, dab the brakes, turn left, accelerate out of the corner, and avoid hitting that barrier on the right-hand side like I did in the live final in Madrid. That's it in terms of race A. Let's head towards race B then, where we're at Fuji in some Group 4 machinery. And you can see I've chosen the McLaren 650S for this one. What exactly are we doing here at Fuji? And we're on the short layout, by the way, so no chicane this time. It's 4 laps. It's a rolling start on racing hard tyres. You can change the brake balance for this one. Very straightforward combo, a very close combo because it does offer close racing all the time, does Fuji. Let's jump into the race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens, as this one's a bit weird. Right then, here we go at the start. So we've got Toyota Supra P1, NSX P2, some good choices there. We've also got a very strange driver in P4, but we're not going to go into that one as we kick off with this race. And we've got the Bugatti Veyron of Shelty behind us there. Now, you did see the subscribe graphic appear there. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. We're on our journey to 40k, and I appreciate all the support. It also helps you get notified of the latest videos coming out. We're leaving this corner. Kimmy's had an incident already. I'm not sure what's kicking off there as we head into the left, and we just fast forward a little bit here to get straight into the racing action. Then we've got MG Flash then in that GTR. We've got, who's that up ahead? We've got Buck Stella there in a Volkswagen Scirocco. That's usually Shelty in that car as we go into that left-hander then. And we've got side-by-side happening up ahead. Then we're going to go towards that left-hand side of the Flash then as we head down here. Now, I did say this is the short version, i.e. no chicane, and I prefer this. I really do. I think the chicane just offers too much clunkiness, whereas this literal ride through here. I mean, look at this. We've got somebody off there. That's Buck Stella. And we go on the inside of the Ferrari then. And on the inside of Buck Stella there. Is it 2 for 1? Oh, it is. What a move, if I do say so myself. As we continue on then. And we're going to advance further on in the race then to the next lap, turn 1. And there's all sorts of action happening up ahead. We got Blue Fortitude Thunder here, a member of TCR. Hodgson as well, also a part of TCR. As we continue on as they're going to go down the inside here of Blue Thunder. That's player, of course, as we go into the left-hander. I was just trying to get my memory into play then. And Hodgson's got a 0.5 penalty there for track limits somewhere. So we are in a nice little battle here. We've actually got TCR, P8 to P11 right now. How good's this looking? So we just nearly clipped the edge of Hodgson now. Ford just started turning and then straightened up a little bit. So that's my fault with that piece of contact there. Nothing major to continue on out. Although Blue Thunder down the left-hand side gets the position in that Ferrari. As we've got the Veyron behind of Shelty looking menacing here. It has some speed as well, does that Veyron, of course. As we head into the braking zone, then I'm going to try a familiar move that I did earlier on then. Got the inside of everybody here, and we do indeed. On the inside then, as we head towards this right-hander, we're going to get on the inside of Hodgson. Not quite, but we are up to P9 once again as we head up the hill. And now it's best for me just to stay behind Hodgson at this moment in time before we have to get involved with you-know-who up ahead. But even so, we continue on here towards the final corner. Here towards the braking zone we go. Shelty's going to go down that inside then. We've got a yellow flag up ahead. What is going to be happening here? We've got a car on the racing line, and we hit a ghost. We do hit a ghost, but that's not the most crazy thing that's about to happen. I did say it's weird. Check that out. And you can see my reaction. A 3-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags in Gran Turismo. I was just stunned by that. I mean, I got damage. They reversed onto the racing line, as we'll see in the bloopers, and they ghosted and then unghosted and ghosted again, as far as I could tell, which is very frustrating indeed. Thank you, Gran Turismo. Amazing. Get rid of that stupid yellow flag penalty. And speaking of penalty, Remy there, who was the one I hit, actually unfortunately went off there, so I did finish ahead of them, fortunately. But what a silly, silly penalty that was. It really was. What is the point of the yellow flag penalties? I still don't know. There's lots of us actually saying change this because it's silly. But we'll see what happens. I know some people want to include it because it's sim-like, but it's not sim-like. It's not. There's no accident there, so it doesn't actually make it sim-like. Anyway, lap guy, turn 1, left-hand side, start of the grandstand there. That is your brake marker for turn 1. I will stop ranting now, and I'll give you a guide at its Fuji circuit, the short version, of course. Coming into here, you want to keep it tight here, keep it close to the curb, and do not go on that slippy stuff on the exit. It will spin you out, as you saw Rem go out earlier on in the race. So let's head towards the next corner then. And what we're looking for on the left-hand side, we've got a mixture of greys there on the barrier. It starts off light, it goes slightly darker, and the darkest one is there, and then it goes to light again. Guess what? The transitioner, that is your brake marker. Nice, isn't it? It's great. Or you could just use that to 100 board if you really want to, but I use that on the left-hand side, so I recommend using that side, okay? Going into the braking zone then, 4th gear. Avoid hitting that little bollard thing, as that will slow you down as well and actually make you go a little bit iffy in the corner. Coming into here, I'd advise not braking, just using the throttle here. Sometimes you may find you have to brake. Just slightly brake. Don't go 100% on the brakes. And as you leave that corner, what you're looking for on the left-hand side is the end of the curb. The end of the curb as that hits the edge of your screen or gets close to it, depending on your camera view and car, of course. That is your brake marker for this left-hander. Now, for this corner, you actually do want to keep quite a tight line so you can get out of the corner early. And that's what I'm going to try here as I turn in. And I'm going to try and accelerate out. That corner is so... I don't know why I went accent there. That corner is so wide that and then you come back, it tightens up. So you can really get a lot of acceleration initially and let the downforce do its part. Heading towards the right-hander then, not the chicane this time. We have a Dunlop sign on the right-hand side. As that sign hits the edge of your screen there, that is when you're going to brake for this corner. It's only slowing it down a little bit here. So I dropped 1 gear here and then chuck it in. Oh, I dropped 2 gears. It should only be 1 gear. That is 4th gear. And you can see there, I had lots of room to play with there in terms of the tarmac. Head towards this right-hander. We're going to use that lamppost again on the right-hand side that I do use a lot here at Fuji. As I hit the edge of your screen is when you're going to brake and start to turn in. Now, with this corner, you want to get it rotated quite early, okay? You want to be on the curb, essentially, to allow you to drag around a little bit more. And hopefully we'll see that here as I come into the corner. And there we go. I'm on the curb, so I can boot it out of here very quickly and then accelerate through here. Keeping it tight initially because my brake marker is the end of the curb on that left-hand side. Now, you're going to open the corner a little bit, so you're going to head towards the outside of the circuit as you brake. That does mean you can't brake 100%, but you can brake 90, 80, 70%, depending on how much you are turning right now. Let's see how much I brake then coming into this corner. 50, 60-ish% there as we come into here. I clip the curb and accelerate out very, very quickly. For the last corner then, this is a corner that has many lines. You can go for a tight line, which is obviously a shorter line, but means a slower exit. You can go for a wide line, which means it's a much slower in terms of the initial part of the corner, but you get a run off the corner like nobody's business. Or you can go for the middle of the road, and I believe that's what I do on this situation. So middle of the road here, try and get it turned as quick as possible and accelerate as early as possible. Even if you get a little bit of oversteer, catch it very quickly, and then head towards the line. That is Fuji in a nutshell in Group 4, and I highly recommend you give this race a try because it is good fun. A 42.2, which does mean you can follow my ghost if you want to try it. Speaking of ghosts, you can do that on the race C as well, where we're at Sardenga Layout C, but in reverse. Yes, it's in reverse, and it's a good little layout, this. Very short, though, for the Group 3 machinery we are in. That's why we are doing 20 laps, ladies and gentlemen. A rolling start, rated soft tyres with 1 mandatory pit stop, ×2 fuel, ×6 tyre wear. You can alter the suspension and brake balance in Group 3. 20 laps, I believe, is one of the highest amounts we've ever seen in a daily race. But it is a short lap. Let's jump to the race then, because this race is crazy. Right, here we are then at the start. Mixture of cars again. Nissan showing a good show here, actually. Quite a few of them. Porsches, obviously, we're going to show here. I'm in the Supra because that was what I did my fastest lap in, which, again, you can see my ghost and follow my ghost if you want to. As we head towards turn 1 there, Marisonic weaving to warm up the tyres there. That's what you need to do. Remember, there is a tyre temps in this game now. You have to be wary of that. Time trial's still a bit iffy in my opinion. I need to go into more detail with that because it's not straightforward as people make out. As we see somebody go straight into the barrier then. Well, we're up a place after that bit of a big crash, really, isn't it? As we continue on up here, Marisonic there, just going a bit slow through this right-hander. We've got action up ahead. Bahama racing there sideways. Oh, Jammy's gone there. No! UCR Jammy has just gone there. So another crash then. So that's 3 crashes or 3 people who have crashed already in this race as we head into the final corner. Now, you are going to experience this a lot. Oh, I just saw somebody in the rear view there crash as well. That's another one gone. You are going to experience this a lot in this race, folks, because it's very close, it's very quick, and there's lots of barriers very close to the track. There's going to be lots of crashes here. Do keep that in mind as we head on lap number 2 then. MG Flash going for that full angle of the corner there. And we've got a couple of people going in a bit late into the corner then. We continue on out and we're still in P8 at the moment. But we can see, well, it's not P1, is it? Is it P2 up ahead? As we head up here for P3. Sorry, it's P3 as we go into the right-hander then. MG Flash up ahead. Hodgson's had a bit of an issue then. Everyone slows it down massively. Everyone trying to slow it down here. As there's a bit more contact. Everyone trying to slow up here. And we do carry on eventually here. Got a yellow flag up ahead. I'm not sure what that's for. We lose out there, unfortunately, but we avoided the accidents in the grand scheme of it, so we can carry on with the race then. So we advance a lap later then. Hudson's about to take the penalty. Oh, Bleefunders gone. Shelty. Oh, Shelty's gone as well. Oh, no. 3 TCR players impacted on 1 lap. What's going on here? Oh, speaking of impacted, somebody else has gone there. Oh, we're up to P5. I mean, that's... Oh, we nearly got... It's chaos here. It's actual chaos. So we continue on then. So lap... what's this? Lap 4. We're in P5. We catch back up to MG Flash in that AMG GT then. As we continue on through there. They took it a bit too tight there. Bounced up. Went a bit wide. And we take the advantage then up into P4 we go. This used to be our cursed position, P4. It really was. If you have a look at all the live events, it's where I came. We advanced to lap 8 then. I go up to Mario Sonic and I decided to come in and I decided to change tyres. I'm talking about the changing tyres because it's significant, okay? I feel that changing tyres is probably better for everybody this week. However, if you hit a lot of traffic, then not changing tyres is worthwhile. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to try a couple of these races to really get a feel for it. But do keep that in mind. You are going to lose out. Mario Sonic is up ahead. Didn't change tyres, okay? In P7 right now, Mario Sonic, I would say 3 or 4 seconds up the road as we leave this corner. And we were right behind them, remember that. So a few more people in the pits. Some people changing tyres. I think the majority are changing tyres here. And as we get to this corner, I notice Oscar comes out here, but I didn't notice his position at the time. I'm like, why are they still ghosted? Confused me like crazy. So I avoided them here, you know, as you do, because you're like expecting the unghost to happen at any point. Still not unghosted. I'm getting confused here. So I back out of this a little bit coming up here. There we go. I back out of it there because I was very confused with what's happening. It's only in a second do I realise they're a back marker. They're P15 as we come through here on the right-hander. And there you go. I just realised now I looked left before. And now I'm going to just try and go through them as a ghost. But I'm a bit scared, obviously, after what happened in race B. I don't know that at the time because I did race C first. But even so, through the right-hander we go. And we advance to lap 17. So it is a bit, you know, you see the track map, a bit spread out at this moment in time. Different strategies, different cars all playing a part. We catch up to Mario Sonic, who didn't change tyres. They didn't change tyres where we did here, as we now are catching them very quickly. You see they're just struggling with right-hand corners. The front left really gets hammered here as you go into that left-hander. So when we get into this type of corner here, Mario Sonic's always going to struggle from not changing tyres. And we continue on through there. Up into P2 we go. Happy days. Do we get P1 though? That is the question. And we advance to the final lap and Sonic keeps P1. I always take Sonic on the final lap, or most of the time. I didn't this time, Sonic. Well played indeed. And that round of applause I did in the webcam just before was for you. Well played, Sonic. Really well done there in that Nissan GTR Nismo GT3. Let's go to a lap guide then. Let me explain this lap. Heading towards turn 1 then. You've got a choice here. You can use the billboards, braking just before they hit the edge of your screen. Or you can use this line. And I'm actually using this line quite a lot, actually, for this one. It's a really helpful line, and I advise using it as well. As it hits the bottom of your screen, hit the brakes, okay? You can see I'm just coming off here and going on the brakes. Now, what I would advise is a slightly deeper line in to then come out, okay? Because if you go for a tight line, it's going to be really slow throughout. So you actually want to go in, turn, and out as fast as you can, okay? So as we head up the hill then, it's avoid the barrier on the left-hand side. Chuck it right. Try not to lift here. You don't have to lift. And as we head over the crest of the hill, we're looking for this white piece of paint. I'm assuming it's paint on the left-hand side there. The end of that, the big block of it at least, that is my brake marker for this next corner. Avoid going towards the left-hand side too much, okay? Because there's grass on the left coming up, and I've seen a lot of people spin there as we go through the right-hander. I've even spun there as well when doing some of these laps. Continuing out of there then, just be careful on the exit of the gravel. We're going to head up here, and we're going to look to start slowing the car down here. So in a straight line, we slow the car down a bit because we want to take the widest line possible for the final corner. Your brake marker is the end of the curb, of course, so you need to be braking before that hits the edge of your screen. You can see I'm not accelerating at the moment. I'm actually just applying the brakes right now, so we'll be 100% as that hits the edge of your screen. And literally, you want to use as much of the inside as you can without touching the curb. And as you accelerate through here, be careful of power oversteer. In fact, be careful of power oversteer on turn 1 as well as that last corner, okay? We head towards the line, and what's that? That's a 51.3. Plenty of time available in this lap as well. Another half second probably in there. Looking at the bloopers then, this is Dims on the inside. You can see it was just a mistake. It's a slight tap on knee, but you really did need to wait after that one. That was, you know, it was technically it's a punt, essentially, there. So I did want to have a look at what happened behind with Chris here. This was faulty gearbox. And as we continue on out here, oh, the bump chucked him off. It wasn't me there. I was a bit worried it was me, but it wasn't me there, so that's not too shabby. It's going into here then. This is the incident with Hodgson. It's going into here. There's the tiniest of taps there. Nothing major. I slow it down enough there for it to matter, and then Hodgson just runs out of road and spins off. So actually, I'd argue I didn't need to wait there. Hodgson had a look at it as well and said the same thing. And as we head to this one then, and that's just a punt on Kimmy. Now, I don't know if you've had an impact with Kimmy before or not in terms of this driver, but revenge punts are not worthwhile because, you know, Kimmy will just revenge punt back. Going through here, let's have a look at here. Yeah, that's where the ghost, unghosted and ghosted again. Slow-mo, look at it. Ghosted, unghost, ghost, unghost, and then ghost. I think that was everything, was it? Ghost, unghost, Anyway, well, let's have a look why Rems ended up there. That's probably the better way to do this. Spins, right? Okay, so you're probably going, Tid, you had a yellow flag. You should have adhered to it. But nobody does this either because Rem's expected to be ghosted, not to sit on the racing line and then cause issues like that. So, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating indeed. So, what happened to the Porsche then on lap 1 of Daily Race C? Oh, just ran a bit tight there. And, yeah, hit the grass and span out there with a 1.5 second penalty. A very pointless penalty then. Oh, the RCZ Bahamas just got it slightly wrong coming up here. That's how Jammy got involved with that. That's unfortunate indeed. And yeah, just a big old accident there. Nothing much more could have happened. The barriers are close. I said it in the race. You need to watch out, and there's going to be lots of those crashes this week. So I did have a look at this one because I just saw this one out of the blue. So the Porsche absolutely sends it here. Does go deep, to be fair. Hodgson was a bit wide there as well. I think they were trying to avoid everyone, to be honest with you there, but they continue on racing. So what we're going to do now, actually, is we're going to jump towards Hodgson because this incident continues then. Coming up here, slight contact between the two. I'd advise going single file here, and that's the reason why there's contact with the barrier. And then this is where everybody just slows up, trying to settle in here. That's my slight tap. I'm trying to avoid hitting Hodgson at that point. I get a tap from behind, which pushes me back into Hodgson. TCR player then comes through here. What happens here then? Oh, the gravel trap slows Shelty down, slows TCR player down, and they both go for a spin. But what's really bad is this. So Shelty's obviously trying to get back on the track. Can't do much. Spins round and continues on. Well, guess what? We don't have one bad penalty this week. We have two. A 5-second penalty, and it's not Shelty's fault. Unbelievable. 2 bad penalties this week. That penalty system needs a review. It really does. I think it's just getting worse, in my opinion, or it feels like it. Anyway, that's it for this week's weekly race guide. I do hope you enjoyed it. 2 videos to check out there. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. And do subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.